Hello, and thank you for joining me for Wednesday Word as we continue simply to enjoy the journey. Man, Tina and I last week had the opportunity to be at a student camp to speak to students. And man, what an awesome opportunity. And we've been doing the same camp for several years, and for some reason they just keep inviting us back. But man, we have a blast with those students. And this past week, our theme was Romans chapter 1, verse 16. Romans 1:16 says, Paul says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first, and to also the Greek. What we spent time doing this past week was just simply talking about that passage, that verse. We talked about what the gospel is. We talked about who the gospel is for. We talked about how should I respond to the gospel. And then we looked at what does the gospel produce. And man, as I've been thinking back over this past week and just thinking about what God did, it carried me back to when I first heard the gospel. Man, I remember how God dealt with me when I heard for the first time a clear explanation of the gospel, what Jesus had done for me. That man, he was born an impossible birth. He lived a sinless life. He died a horrible death on the cross. He came out of that tomb in victory over sin and over death. Man, I remember hearing that Jesus, the one who knew no sin, became my sin so that I could become the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. That's the power of the gospel. Today, what I want you to do, and over the next several days, I want you to remember. I want you to think back to when you first heard the gospel and how you have responded to the gospel. Remember back to how that the gospel has affected you, when it affected you, and how it is continually affecting you. You see, there's power in the gospel. It's the power of God and the salvation to everyone who believes. Have you believed in the gospel? Have you put your faith in the finished work of Jesus alone to be delivered from the punishment you rightly deserve because of sin, and to be made whole, to start this process of you becoming the person that God desires for you to be? There's power in the gospel. Think back. Remember back when you first heard the gospel and how you have responded to the gospel. I pray that you have a blessed day. Man, enjoy the journey. But remember the next few days, remember what God has done for you through the power of the gospel. Have a blessed day. Let Jesus be Jesus in you today as you simply walk with Jesus and remember the power of the gospel in your own life. Thank you so much for watching Complete in Christ as we strive to teach you about the Christ life. We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and may you have a blessed day walking with Jesus.